you are not obligated to collect 100% of the money of your customers. That is not the goal, and that's not reasonable to expect any other business to support that concept.
In the Midwest, you know the best is there waiting, so come and join the conversation. I still approve, fan and artist and creator too. This is how the challengers do. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
W. Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Dal.
Dal.
W. Dal Bush.
What do you think our busiest time of the year, and I don't mean business-wise, but I mean work-wise, like when we have the most things to do for our business, aside from being in the store, ringing up transactions?
I mean, I think it's like C2E2. I always feel like it feels like that whole period is just like anywhere from a few days before to a couple days afterwards could just be like things we've got to do or people we're meeting up with or whatever.
But that's always a lot more like last minute or we don't know.
Sure, it's not like planning, no.
I would think that it is right now Free Comic Book Day build-up.
Yeah, that's definitely on the calendar, the thing that... So that, or maybe... Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you count the store-wide sale, which has maybe not as much physical build-up, but definitely has like as much planning and...
Sure. That's mostly you behind the scenes work?
No, but you also work on the t-shirt.
Yeah,
and
fair.
Getting all that organized and making sure that's ready to go, and then dealing with actually the production of the shirt when the sale's over. So again, there's a lot of moving parts to it that, you know, while I'm doing a lot of stuff on the website and dealing with a lot of like the tech element of it, we're all dealing with the build up, the execution, and then whatever comes afterwards that we have to deal with.
Would you say the excellence of execution?
I did not.
Oh, I didn't say did you. I said would you.
I would say the good enough of execution.
Fair enough. I still think it's right now only because
you're probably right.
We are so very busy and I'm so very tired, and we are still a full podcast, another full podcast away from Free Comic Book Day.
Good luck doing that one.
But we have, yeah, right.
Jesus.
I'm more worried about the 1 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, figure it out.
There's so many things.
May, it's a busy month.
We have so many obligations at the store, but then there's added things that are non-Free Comic Book Day related.
Mm-hmm.
For example, next Thursday, we're going to spend a couple of hours talking to a bunch of different classes at a school, at a local school.
Youth of America.
And telling them about the joys, I guess, of running a comic book store.
Sure.
Or just, you know, what it takes.
I think of it more as like a scared straight thing.
Yeah, well, I felt like this is the one where we're not going to...
No, we're not going to.
Do the typical...
I'm kidding.
Our first piece of advice, don't do this, kids.
No, that's a different one.
No, but I mean, it's anywhere from 2nd graders to 8th graders.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I feel a little bit bad, but because it is right before Free Comic Book Day, we don't have anything to give them because we're keeping everything for Free Comic Book Day.
Pretty much.
You know what every kid's going to get? A bookmark.
A crisp salute.
Well, individually, just one as a whole.
One for each class. I'm not doing
like a group photo.
Yeah.
Like when you get a VIP ticket to see a band you like, and you get sound check and a photo with the band.
You and all the other VIPs.
Yes, it's one photo with everybody. It's not a personal photo for you. You're not meeting the band.
Your photo is now going to have the band that you love plus like 10 people you don't know.
It was 40 people when I did it last.
I'm just saying. I picked a number.
That's fine. 10 would be more agreeable.
No, it'd still be bad.
But when it's 40?
Any number of extra people. Like if you are meeting somebody that you are a fan of, whether that's a band or an actor or, you know, whatever. If there's anyone in the photo that you don't know, it kind of ruins the photo.
Yes, but I will say that if it's 10 people, the size of the band in the photo is going to be significantly bigger than when it's 40 people.
It is, but it's still like 10
all
people.
The way on the end.
When you show the photo, people are going to be like, who are these people? Like, it was everyone else who's on the VIP experience.
Oh, I wouldn't show it to anybody.
And that's the thing. Like, if it was just you, you'd show it to people.
Right.
If it's anyone you don't know, even if, like, you're getting a photo, say, with a number of wrestlers, and like your family members are in the photo. Like, at least that's people you know. And it's like, I met these guys with, my family members. But if it's just,
Dal,
I
as
met
you
these
know,
people with
when I take
10
photos
to 40 strangers
with people I know, like yourself,
uh-huh.
we rig it so we're each on a different side, so
you can
the
crop
other
the
can be
person
cropped out.
I'm aware.
Yes,
I'm
it
aware.
works. It works just fine. I also realized that looking back at photos, the Danhausen photo, we're masked and he's sitting. I may have to get a redo on that one.
Sure. Well, I think he was sitting because he had a leg injury.
Yes, he had a broken leg.
He
You
couldn't
know why he had
stand
a
up.
broken leg? Because Warhorse wouldn't fix it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're talking to the Utes of tomorrow. That's taking most of next Thursday, but then we have to run back to the store to do
day one of
day one of-
FCBD prep.
yeah, and
It is a
then
multi-day prep process.
still make it out to see Thunderbolts,
Yep, the Thunderbolts.
which is
Asterisk.
prerequisite.
It really is. I'm hoping it'll be a good one. The trailer has ups and downs for me, but I like all those characters. I like all those actors, and I hope it's a fun movie.
It'll be the best Marvel movie we've seen in a long time in a theater.
What was the last?
Captain America.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So on top of that, Galaxy Con has a horror convention in Rosemont, and they had asked us to help promote that, which we can. And they're also like, "Hey, do you want to? Do you want to go?" I can't.
Yeah.
There's no time to go.
Seriously.
I'm also missing Drinks with Constantine.
I'll cover for you. You can go.
You can't cover for me when it's just the two of us running the store and the art show.
That'll be fine.
I have to be at the art show. I have a piece in the art show.
You can be at the art show and then leave the art show, get on the Blue Line, go out to Rosemont, have drinks with Constantine, get on the Blue Line, come back.
I'm afraid he wouldn't be dressed up, and that's just ruin the whole. Like,
yeah, but he can still do the accent.
But I mean, it's not drinks with Matt Ryan. It's advertised as drinks with Johnny C.
Sure.
So he better be in the full
What
gear.
if you brought
Anyway, I'm not going. It's a moot point.
a tan overcoat for him to wear in case he didn't bring one of them? Be like, can you please wear this
I also don't have
while
one.
we're having drinks? Go buy one.
What if his hair isn't dyed?
Woof.
What if it's his natural dark hair color?
That would be a shame.
Right? Man, see, there's too many possibilities of risking disappointment.
Who wants disappointment?
Whereas I could just stay at Challengers and already be disappointed and just be fine with that.
That's the spirit.
I try to go in open-minded to all of our events.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was invited to be on a podcast next week that I had to turn down. I'm too busy.
Sucks.
There's too much going on. Too much going on. And there's also 2 days of recording the next Divorce Gun album.
Wow.
Well, this is the first of 2 recording sessions we have for this year.
Busy few weeks.
Yeah, so everything is at once, and there's people in town that have been like, "Hey, I can't see you." Yeah, Torma from Oni is going to be in town, and he's going to swing by the store. But normally we'd want to do something and hang out, but we can't.
Nope, too busy.
It's free comic book weekend. It's
Bad
all
weekend
too
for
much.
it.
It's
Yeah.
all too much. So obviously we have free comic book day. We're going to have Dave Scheid signing the Star Wars adventure books that he wrote. That is a free comic day comic.
Yep.
We're going to have Jedala Lewis, who was with us last year and was a huge hit.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have Alex Rosado, who's always wonderful creator to have
He's very good.
for things. And we're going to have free comics. We're going to have the League of Enchantment cosplayers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have other cosplayers. There may be somebody that who am I going to call? Oh, right. I'm going to have to remember to call that guy to make sure he shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever Alexis is doing, I have no idea.
Sure.
And then so this is the thing we have to stick to. At 5:00 on Free Comic Book Day, we're kicking everybody out.
Yep.
No stragglers, no layabouts like there usually are.
Nope.
Everybody has to go because we're shutting down for an hour, breaking it all down, and redressing for the Chillin' Like a Villain art show.
Free comic book night.
Free comic book night. We've got, 17, 19 pieces
Nice.
of local artists
They've been trickling in already, and they're pretty great.
Yeah, we've got a handful so far, and we've got, a week to get the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll set up for the show in the same room the Free Comic Book Day was held at. Free Comic Book Night will also be held there. And then I think obviously my plan is to after the opening, hang all those pieces in Challengers for a month for people to see them and buy whatever hasn't been sold.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we'll get to that Saturday night after the art show.
Definitely not.
Yeah, so that'll have to wait till a few days later.
Yeah, it'll
probably.
be done the next week. So there'll probably be like a span of maybe 3 or 4 days where that artwork is just being held.
Yeah.
And then we'll put it back out.
I also don't want to take down any of the prints that have the potential of selling during Free Comic Book Day. The prints we have on the wall normally. I think we can fit all those on the shelves when they come off the walls.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem.
But yeah, there's a lot of work to be done.
Yep.
Shifting the art show around. And then immediately, wait, is it immediately? 3 and 7 is 10 and 7 is 17. Okay, 2 weeks after that, we have the Blades of Furry signing. The very popular hit webtoon where both creators this will be the release event for the area because the other event that they were doing ahead of time has fallen through.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it is just our event. And we have even partnered with a local business to make it more of a themed day.
Neat.
Do I want to say? Do we not want to say?
No, I mean, you can maybe say close to the event if you want to.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, I want to give that business a full credit for being willing to help us.
Yeah.
With this.
Yeah, go ahead then.
Well, I'll say that it's Ava's Italian Ice is who we're working with. Ice because it is an ice skating themed book.
Yep.
So I think that there is definitely a crossover there, and they were not only were they very, very willing to help out, they immediately said, "Oh, we can do this."
Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, and we will be handing out things to people, not just free comics, but they'll have little upcoming event flyers. There'll be superhero masks for the youngins.
Yep.
And there'll also be little superhero figurines for the youngins.
Good mix of stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna bust out like some of the Spider-Man Halloween candy receptacle and fill it with little guys.
Nice.
As I will also fill probably my vest pockets.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And the cosplayers will give things out as well. League of Enchantment, I think, is only going to be for the first 2.5, 3 hours or so.
That's the most important part.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully, weather permitting, we'll have all of our characters outside.
Yeah. I'll take a look and see what the forecast looks like for next week.
I would think it is 30 degrees and snowing.
No, I mean, it's partly cloudy, low of 36, high of 49, so it will not be a warm day.
Oh, really? Yeah. Man, wow, I hope that changes because...
We'll see. Monday and Tuesday this week have high in the mid-70s, and then it drops next Wednesday to highs of 50.
Huh. Not a big fan of that.
No, so...
Need it to be in the 70s for Free Comic Book Day.
Well, I don't usually want it to be that warm. I want it to be in the low 60s, because it usually gets really warm in the store.
Yeah, fair, when you have so many bodies.
Yeah. But it's usually, you want it to be warm enough where you can have the door open. At least I do.
I mean, we definitely need the Sidekick store open.
Right.
For directing traffic and things.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was building the racks yesterday that the free books will be on. And in order to store them, they need to be broken down to their flattest components for the year that they're in storage. And they're also tucked highly away. They're stored above surface level.
Yeah.
They're a distance, not a depth, but a distance up. And as I complained to you yesterday after I'd finished, that it gets harder each year.
It sure does.
I was talking to our good friend Steve Davidge, who had stopped by while I was in the garage working on the racks, so I did not see when he was in the store. And I said, "Sorry, I missed you. I was building the racks." And he said, "I'm sure the racks look great." And I said, "A little less great every year." The fact that these racks are 17 years old.
They really are. Some of the first fixtures we bought.
Yeah. I mean, some of the shelves on them is different, and
sure,
we don't use the hardware that they came with because it would be
It would take too long. Yeah. There are a lot of screws and stuff, and it's we only need these to go up for a day, so zip ties.
Yeah, the zip tie effect was such a godsend, and I can't remember how we started using it, or them, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first year I had to buy another bulk bag of zip ties because I was drafting off of the bag of 1,000 we bought like a decade ago for a long time.
Sure.
And we don't use them just on Free Comic Book Day, but mainly on Free Comic Book Day for building those racks.
Yep.
Oh, so much more work ahead of us. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day, but hopefully a good day, happy day. Everyone will have a good time.
Let's hope.
You especially. You're going to have a good time.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Yeah, I know it. I can tell. You know what is not a good time, Dal?
What's that, Patrick?
Give me points for that segue. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. 5 points.
Now that Boom Studios product is officially shipping through Penguin Random House, even though it's a little earlier than they planned on it, fine. And now that their books are officially on invoices, Penguin Random House, for those keeping score at home, is how we get Marvel Comics, Dark Horse Comics, IDW Comics,
Mhm.
and now Boom Studios Comics.
Yep.
So that is 4
And these are specifically like pamphlet format comics.
comical books, not
Like,
graphic novels.
We get a lot of graphic novels from those publishers, from Penguin Random House, and also graphic novels from tons of other publishers from
a lot of
Random House.
manga from them as well.
Right. But the comic books specifically, we get Boom, Dark Horse, Image, and Marvel. I'm sorry, I said no. That's not right. Boom, Dark Horse, IDW, and Marvel.
What?
Sorry.
What happened? Was I having a stroke?
Yeah.
So that's 4 different publishers who have 4 completely different ways they list their books on the invoices now. And Boom is the 4th one to do it a different way. And also theirs is the worst and most convoluted.
Yeah.
We've talked about this to death about the way the data is different from everybody and how great it would be if it was all the same. But Boom does theirs so stupidly that it'll be, everybody else does like cover A or cover A or artist name and variant after it.
Mhm.
Different iterations of parentheses and not parentheses.
Yeah. Some people will use single letter designations for their different covers, like cover A, cover B, cover C, or IDW will do cover A, variant B, variant C, variant D, which
All
drives me
spelled out.
insane.
Yeah.
The thing that Boom introduces to the mix that is, again, just like the 4th way to do it, if a book has no logo on it, they'll put Virgin, which is how everyone else does it. But when a book has a logo on it, they'll put Dressed. So all their books will say either Dressed or Virgin as part of the long title that they've put in the invoice.
But they also use the word main for the A cover.
Mhm.
And they don't use cover or an abbreviation. It'll just say, something is killing the children, number 41, A, main, parentheses, dressed, space, artist name, end of parentheses.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it's all very frustrating. And it was frustrating back when they only had a couple publishers that were having comics listed through them. And this is, of course, putting aside the fact that, like, all the graphic novels they list are usually not using things in the titles that we would probably want them to use. Like, one of the things they do is because we download invoices as CSV files, they have a specific column for what the format is.
Comma separated values for people who may not know that acronym.
Or just a spreadsheet. I mean, if anyone's ever used a spreadsheet in their adult life, that's it. There's a separate column for what the format is. So that could be comic book, or could be trade paperback, or could be hardcover. So when we get things like Lore Olympus, both in hardcover and softcover, the title for both of them is like Lore Olympus 8. And then in a separate column, it'll say if it's a hardcover or a trade paperback. Now, this is dumb, just period, considering that these things should be in the title and it would help us find stuff. But it's especially dumb because that's also how they list them on their website for retailers to search for stuff. So it doesn't say Lore Olympus 8 softcover, Lore Olympus 8 hardcover in the title when you're looking at them. They'll have like 3 different Lore Olympuses, and they'll all say Lore Olympus 8, and then when you go into them, you'll go, oh, this one's the trade paperback, this one's the hardcover, this other one is like the library formatted one. So there's been a number of times where I, a retailer who has other things to do and is just trying to order a specific book, has ordered, say, a Pizza and Taco volume that I thought we needed. And then I found out that, I ordered the Pizza and Taco library pre-binding version that costs a ton more and is not the same format and doesn't have a barcode on the back.
Higher price, no barcode. and lesser discount.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize that because I was just looking at the lines and that was the one that was listed and that was the one I picked. If you put it in the title, I would have found it faster. So it is incredibly frustrating that literally no one at Penguin Random House seems to have any control over this when it's like, one, you could dictate it to the accounts that you have.
Yeah,
to say,
you are the largest book distributor in this country.
when you are submitting your data, submit it to us in this format. Or you could have someone on staff that could just fix these things in bulk. That when they get the various comic book data files from Boom, from IDW, from Dark Horse, it maybe is their paid responsibility to go through and say, okay, well, all of these have to look the same. So that not just the ease of use when we have CSV files that we're trying to utilize in our systems, and it saves us the work of then having to do it, which means hundreds, if not thousands of accounts don't have to do the exact same task because it could just be done centrally at Penguin Random House for everybody one time. But also when you're searching for things in their database, they have the same things in the same places. So when you're searching for stuff, you know what you're looking at and you're able to find stuff faster instead of like, oh, I forgot that IDW would say it this way, but Boom would say it this way. So that's how I would find exactly what I'm looking for. And that, again, tiresome when it was just one or two publishers, exponentially more tiresome now that it's like 4 publishers and counting. I think they're getting Distillery. I'm sure Distillery is going to do it like a 5th way.
Sure.
I hate it. I hate it so much. And again, it's just one of those things that like, if someone centrally was doing this, either dictating it or actually doing it, it would be done one time. It instead has to be done hundreds or thousands of times. That's dumb. It's pointless. And it could be fixed.
And as you said, it's not just the annoyance that it is for me, who wants to make all of our new release lists look the same.
Sure. Or for me, who, when I'm receiving new books into our database, and I have to correct the different things, because if I get Penguin Random House before Managed Comics has corrected it, because I need to receive them on Sunday instead of Monday, I have to sit there for half an hour going like, let me get rid of these commas. Let me change these things. Let me get rid of these parentheses that only Dark Horse puts in or whatever.
Yeah, and thank God that Managed Comics does actually do a bulk of that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to wait and hold off on my receiving until Managed Comics has done all of their magic to it, but frequently I can't because of when we're receiving stuff. Like, I have to receive Penguin Random House on Sunday if I know I'm getting Lunar on Monday, because I won't have time to receive Penguin Random House on Monday because I'm receiving 4 or more boxes of Lunar, and I need that time back. I'd rather not sit around on Sunday doing nothing and then have Monday where I have to do twice as much work.
But it's also the fact of having the search fields be as inaccurate as they are when you don't have the standardized typing, as you just said.
It's dumb.
And we didn't even mention the fact that almost everybody is mixed case except Marvel is all caps.
Yeah, again, just...
At least Lunar is everybody is all caps.
Right.
At least that's one commonality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same with them.
They will definitely have things listed different ways. Like, Image doesn't quite list their ratio variance in the same way that, like, DC does.
Yeah. But they're a lot closer.
Yeah, I wish distributors could have some uniformity to their listings for stuff. Again, if they can't dictate it to the individual publishers, I don't know why they couldn't, but let's just say for the sake of argument, they can't. They're barred from doing so for some reason. Do it internally. You're paying people. Pay one person to do it once a week when new data comes in. I know it sucks. It's shitty, and I'm sure you don't feel like you have to do it, but it would be a godsend to all of your accounts, and it would honestly make things a lot more reliable when we're searching for stuff.
This is not something we've ever talked to other retailers about, but I wonder how many people find it as aggravating as we do, or how many people just say, nah, I don't care.
Yeah, and at this point, like, I'm not even saying do it this one specific way that would make us the most happy. I don't even care. Pick one way.
Yeah, pick one way.
Like, I'll get used to it, man. I'll choke it down.
I understand that no matter which way they pick it, there will still be things I have to personally change to make it look the way I want it. And I accept that, but at least I wish it was one way.
Yeah. Instead of, again, four different ways and counting for Penguin Random House.
Because here's the thing. If it was universal, I would probably just give up and say, fine.
Yeah.
We'll do it your way.
Yeah, for sure. I would even consider, like, if Penguin Random House was like, look, everything is going to be mixed case, commas and colons, even though, like, please stop putting commas in your titles, because when we have to use CSV files, it screws them up pretty constantly.
Yeah.
But also, like, if they were like cover A, variant B, whatever, like, as long as all the data is in the title, I would seriously consider changing everything in our database to match it.
Yep.
Just to be like, fine, this is the new format. I'm on board. You're saving me work. I will live with it.
But just put thought into it. That's all we're asking.
Yeah.
It's so much busy work. It's so much busy work.
It really is.
And it's now...
And you thought it was bad just when you had to get rid of caution codes and stuff.
Yeah. Sure.
Long for those days.
I mean, they're still there.
Yeah, but we don't
Still
have to deal with them as much.
Still have to do that.
That's only for diamond invoices, and we don't have very long diamond invoices anymore.
Yeah, lately I've just been picking and choosing the product I want to go on our lists from Diamond, because I'm never fully sure when it's going to come out.
Sure.
And we go back and forth between how detailed we want our weekly new release lists to be, because there's two versions. There's the version we send out in the email a week in advance, and then there's a version that we post in the store. And what we post in the store and what we have on the front counter and on the display boards are actually the titles that you'll have on the shelf, not the covers.
No,
just the title and the issue number. We can't list every cover. There's no,
the font would be microscopic.
Yeah,
it would have to be so small to fit everything on a gigantic monitor.
But on the release list that goes out in the email and that gets posted on the website, we want to have as much detail as possible. And oftentimes, a quarter to half of the list could be special order books we're not actually putting on the shelf. But the point of it is so that people see that they're out there and maybe be like, oh, I want to make sure I get this one, so they can special order it through us.
Exactly.
We don't go out of our way to put special orders for merchandise on that list, because most of the time we can't get that back.
Right.
And it's a hassle to try to order it for somebody. So those may be not posted, but we'll do every cover of Mark Spear's Monsters #4 that's out in a week, so people see that it's out.
Sure.
Obviously, those subscribers will get an email Tuesday night saying those books are for them, and we do risk the chance of somebody being excited about that book and coming in Wednesday morning to find there's 0 copies on the shelf because we don't stock it.
Right.
But then that lets them know that it was a thing they could have gotten, and they could join the subscription service to get it.
We can pre-order the next issue for you right away.
Yeah, it's not trying to make people feel like they're missing out, but it's always trying to remind people that there's
how much stuff we actually get in.
Larger services available to them to enrich their comic buying experience.
Sure.
A lot of the customers from Things from Another World are finding out how robust our service is.
It's true. Very robust.
We did talk about that, right?
Maybe.
I'm sure we did. I'm sure we did. 2 weeks ago was Morgan. Last week was C2E2. Episode-wise, I mean.
Okay.
Trying to figure out what we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just there's more and more busy work in our jobs now.
I guess, yeah. And I mean, one of the things that we've talked about endlessly, but is still a nuisance, is just how difficult it is to plan our weeks around different deliveries that are all coming at different times. Like, it's just, we're back to the point where Lunar is showing up incredibly late. I haven't checked in the last few hours. I don't know if next week's books have even shipped out yet.
No, because I get an email when they've done that and they have not shipped out
Which means they're probably not going to show up on Friday, which means they may show up on Monday or they may show up on Tuesday.
And I know how great it was for you last Tuesday.
Oh my God, it's the worst. I mean, it was bad because it was 5 boxes, which just on the face of it is a terrible amount of product to have to receive the day before release. And I'm just going to take a quick little sidebar here to say that the industry fought for years to get product a day early. Like, that was a thing that the Diamond barred for the longest time, and finally took $5 per retailer per week to pay for a secret shopper program to police it, blah, blah, blah. But basically it was just, we would have paid twice that, 10 times that, maybe not 10 times that, maybe 10 times that, had to get books a day early. Like we were already.
I mean, what were we paying in cash to?
We were under the table, like a lot of stores in the area,
was
paying
it like $50, $25, $50?
People at the warehouse to be able to pick up our books a day early, so we would have a day to unpack
because they were just sitting
receive, there. and get the books ready for release. It wasn't
They'd
even
get them on
early.
Saturdays. We couldn't get them until Wednesday mornings.
It was just to be able to process that stuff effectively and have it on the shelves when we open. We've reached a point now where we get so much product and there's so many things and there's so many variant covers, there's so many individual SKUs, and I'll say it, so many distributors, that I do not think it's right that we are getting product only a day in advance of the on sale date. I don't think that's sufficient anymore. So the distributors are still treating it like, well, we told you we'd get it to you, at least a day early. A day early is not early enough anymore. If it's not at least 2 days, we are under the gun. It is way too difficult and stressful. I don't think it's fair. I genuinely think that we should be having product. Like other industries, you would have it weeks in advance. I'm not saying that. I don't expect the sequential comic book market to switch to that format, because basically it would mean we wouldn't be able to do FOCs for like a month while the whole industry switched over. And then we'd probably be paying for product a month before we'd be able to sell it. So that's not going to work. But I think the way that Penguin Random House does it, where we're getting product the Thursday or Friday before release, should be the industry standard at this point. That should be when we get stuff. It's
virtually clockwork. It's delivered every Friday morning around 11:15 a.m.
The fact that our lunar stuff can show up anywhere between Thursday, which doesn't happen anymore, and the Tuesday before release, that sucks. It sucks so bad that it's unreliable, but it sucks worse that it is now almost always the Monday or Tuesday before release. And Monday is late, but we can live with it. Tuesday is essentially too late at this point. Tuesday is unacceptable. I wish that could change. I think whatever mode of thinking treats Tuesday as the optimal day for new books to show up at stores for Wednesday release is not realistic anymore. That is not the market as it exists. If you were doing that, but you were also saying every publisher can only do 2 variant covers for their books,
fine.
I could probably live with it. We could probably make it work. But when I'm receiving so many individual SKUs that all take a minimum amount of time per SKU to deal with, it's not like, receiving 100 copies of a book. It doesn't matter if it's one book that's 100 copies or 10 books at 10 copies each. No, because each individual SKU takes a certain amount of time, plus however many copies you get. So each of those 10 individual SKUs is like a brand new thing. And counting up 10 copies of it is honestly the same as counting up 100 copies of something else. So,
and what about
that shit? You look at it and it's like you didn't get 5 boxes, you basically got 50 boxes.
What about when you know that the barcode data is wrong for some of them, like all the G.I. Joe Silent Mission ones?
Super great.
And then you have to change. You have to fix all those for all the variant covers.
Yep. All 3 covers. And I mean, Christ, and it's when I was doing the new this week wall this week, because it was one of the last things I had time to do. I usually like to get it done way in advance so that when I close Tuesday night, I can put all the books on the shelf and get out of the store at a reasonable hour. Instead, it was like I didn't even get to start working on the new this week wall. It was all blank until like 6:15, which is usually when I would like to be shooting the video that then I can upload to Patrick and I can go home and have dinner, which is kind of an important thing for an organism, is eating regularly. But anyway, doing the wall, we have 7 spaces per shelf. You can fit 7 individual comic book spaces, full face. That was always great because you could do up to, 7 titles. One of the things I hate doing, and I have to do all the time now, is that I don't like when something starts on one shelf and then goes down to the next shelf. I think
there's a visual break that they don't realize that the title is still continuing, and you get to the end of a 4-foot section.
Yeah, and so they might miss however many covers we've got, or variant covers, or whatever. So I try to avoid that as much as I can, and usually you get around that by extending different titles. Maybe something gets 2 full faces for cover A instead of 1, so that way you're fitting the whole title on one shelf and it doesn't have to shift something from above. That was almost impossible to do this week because so many titles had 4 and 5 variant covers, and it's like, okay, well, if you have multiple titles in a row that have 4 covers, this shit's not going to fit on one 7 space shelf
or so.
Like, this sucks. And so much of it was like that because Absolute Martian Manhunter has a bunch of variant covers. All of the Absolute issues had their multiple variant covers or whatever. And I know that this is probably, one, a broken record, we say it all the time, but two, something that I'm sure people listening to it or other retailers are like, well, just order less covers then. Jesus, that's a solvable problem. No one's got a gun to your head. No one's twisting your arm. But the problem is this. If we do that, that doesn't turn into sales for other books. It's not like people are like, oh, instead of this Dan Mora cover, I'll just get this Hayden Sherman cover. No, they were going to buy the Dan Mora cover because that's what the market has taught them to do, is to value those variant covers and value them more than the individual books. So when you don't carry those variant covers, you are just denying yourself sales, and that's not good for a business. If I could get away with, as a part of this industry, just ordering A covers and they would sell as much as every other cover combined that we stock, I'd love that.
No,
that's
for
not
sure.
the reality
Yeah.
of the market. That is not how it works.
And what about the sheer fact that's impossible to explain how certain 3 different open order covers from a previous week all suddenly skyrocketed in value?
Yeah. The week of the Wolverine number 8, the Dan Johnson cover to Wolverine number 8, the Lozano cover for Summer Superman, and I think it was just Sister Imperator 2,
Yeah.
which only had one cover, but that thing blew up. More than issue 1, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Which I
Like-
guess makes sense. I think we closed our orders for issue 2 not before issue 1 came out. Maybe, I don't think so. But before everyone knew it was out. Like, we had issue 1 on the shelf for like 2 weeks before suddenly every Ghost fan was like, wait, they made a comic book?
And those are people all buying them from other cities, so we were selling a mail order. They weren't
Right.
being sold off of the rack.
Yeah.
It's so weird when that happens. A book that there was no limit on, it wasn't an incentive variant. There's no limit on how many you could have ordered.
Yeah, it feels like Ghost the band did not do a great job of letting their fans know about this until the book was basically on the shelves, which for stores is way too late. You need to get fans to pre-order stuff. You need fans to call stores and say, hi, are you carrying this? So we go, oh, we should probably order a bunch more. If you tell your fans about something coming out after it's already been released, that doesn't increase sales.
Yeah, the funny part of it
increases
was
the speed of the sales.
after one was ordered, I said to Dal, I'm like, hey, can you order more of those? I think people are going to want it.
Actually, no, it was before FOC.
Oh, okay.
You were like, hey, there's this book. I don't know that you would care about it, but it's the Ghost book, and I think we're going to get Ghost fans in for it, which is great because I would probably not have ordered it at all. I wouldn't have even thought about it because I don't know that Dark Horse did a great job of saying, like, even on the cover, the Ghost logos, it's not even a logo,
Tiny,
it's just like
yeah.
from the band Ghost or whatever, and it's Sister Imperator real big, and it's like, I don't know what that is. So you, a Ghost fan, was like, this is something fans are probably going to want. And I went, all right.
Yeah, well, I was only half right. I said, I think we'd have a lot of people in for this. We didn't. We had a lot of people online looking for it.
Yeah, again, the week it came out, it was not a fast seller. We sold a few, and it was like, okay, I'm glad we ordered what we ordered. You know, it'll probably sell out at some point. But then like 10 days later, we had multiple people calling in for it, coming in for it, and ordering it online. And then issue 2, I mean, as soon as they went up online, I think we were sold out by Saturday.
Yeah. I think it was that Friday I packed everything up.
No, maybe, yeah.
And it was people buying 2 at a time.
Yep.
2 2s at a 2. You just wish you always knew what those would be like. It goes back to Godzilla vs. Chicago first print, where we ordered so many.
What we thought was, yeah.
Yeah. But
It was
now,
insufficient.
now that the second print of that is out, which it's doing fine for us, but I've seen multiple area stores be like, we have this again.
Sure. Yeah, and that's what we ordered it for. We didn't order it for like 1 week sales when it came back in print. We ordered it to have for the whole summer, hopefully.
Yeah, for people to find it and be like, hey, what's that?
Yeah, because we'll have people coming in over the summer who are just shopping, just looking around. They're not looking for anything in particular. And if they see a Ghost Godzilla versus Chicago book, they'll be like, yes, that's something to buy.
Yeah, I don't think Godzilla would fight Ghost. I think they'd team up.
What if Godzilla fought a Ghost?
A Ghost? Speaking of Godzilla, doing the call-out sheet for the books coming out in July, there's 4 different Godzilla books of note for July.
Yeah.
There's Godzilla versus Thor. Godzilla destroys the Marvel Universe, so it's
just the miniseries, I think, set in the current Marvel Universe,
Yeah.
as opposed to all of the one-shots which are set during various parts of Marvel history.
There's Godzilla versus America Boston.
Boston.
And then the brand new Godzilla #1, set in the continuity of
The Kaisei era.
the Kaisei era. We were on a Godzilla phone call yesterday.
A Zoom call.
Yeah. I was there because I thought I'd get to ask Godzilla some questions, and he, in fact, was not there.
Lame.
Just representatives, whatever.
Can't believe he big timed you. Well, he is gigantic.
That's fair. Anything he does is big. Everything he does is big.
Oh, no.
So it was just like, as I'm adding books, I'm like, oh, there's another Godzilla book. There's another Godzilla book. Oh, there's one more.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this is sustainable. Like, we ordered what we thought was a lot for Godzilla versus Chicago. Sold out pretty rapidly. Got a restock in. Sold out of that pretty rapidly. Got a few more in, and that was the end of it. And then those sold out, and we were still getting phone calls and still getting emails about it. So we were ordering Godzilla Fantastic Four, which is the first of the Marvel one-shots.
Yeah.
We were like, we got to go up on this because clearly there is a lot of interest for Godzilla stuff. And Godzilla Fantastic Four feels like it fits the bill. So I don't want to say we doubled it, but we came close. We ordered a lot more. We still have a ton. And while I sell like one every day or two, or maybe a couple in a day, and I think maybe it'll go up when the Fantastic Four movie comes out in like July, it definitely was a thing where I realized, oh no, Godzilla Chicago, Godzilla Monsterpiece Theater, this is not like a huge embrace of Godzilla as a property. These are just a few different cute things that really keyed in for people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I did not up our numbers for Godzilla Hulk, and I think we'll probably sell out of that. And I kept the other Godzilla Marvel issues, what feels like a reasonable thing based on pre-orders. We'll probably have them for a little bit, but we won't have a ton. Yeah, the new Godzilla books, I think they're returnable, I think, for the first couple issues.
Are you going to go a little higher on the Godzilla Destroys Marvel miniseries? Because A, it's everybody, and B, it's current continuity.
We'll
and C,
see.
it's a miniseries.
We'll see what people feel like when we're ordering it based on how the one-shots are doing, because I feel like in typical Marvel fashion, I think they're going to wring this dish rag dry pretty fast.
Yeah.
And by the time we hit Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe, we will essentially be on issue 7 of this series, and that's usually when it's kind of club only. I'm not going to go club only, but I think there's going to be a diminished amount of interest by the time the actual miniseries rolls around.
I'm very surprised there hasn't been an IDW announcement of Godzilla meets the Turtles.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Why not?
You have licenses to both those under the same umbrella. Academy. No, that's Dark Horse.
Yeah, it is, yeah. One of the announcements today about an upcoming crossover event is Gargoyles Fantastic Four.
Really?
Yes, really.
Who's publishing it? Is it
Can't remember.
Dynamite or Marvel?
I assume Dynamite.
Huh.
It's written by Greg Weisman, who is a Marvel writer who was the guy who co-created the Gargoyles.
Yeah.
So it makes a kind of sense.
Interesting.
I did read for Free Comic Book Day, there is a preview comic for Thundercats Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I ordered. That was in the order I just submitted.
Okay.
Today. The order goes in today as we're recording. It went in days ago, though.
Dynamite.
We have found other publishers that Diamond distributes that they have not been ordering product for. Like, it was one thing when we found out the giant stack of Hachette books that they hadn't gotten.
Abrams and Yen Press.
Yeah. But we found out this week that a lot of the Scholastic stuff just like Diamond that we've submitted orders for months ago.
Diamond's listed in their catalogs.
Diamond never even placed orders with Scholastic for.
Yeah, we had, I don't know if we mentioned this on the podcast, but we had seen copies of like Cartoonist Club,
in Target, yeah.
Raina Telgemeier, Scott McCloud Scholastic book that we were very excited about and ordered a lot of copies from Diamond in Target. And we're just like, oh, when's this going to come out? When are we going to get it from Diamond? And, each week we kind of look at our invoice and like, oh, nothing. And then we realized, wait, when's the last time we got anything Scholastic from Diamond? And the answer was like January.
Yeah.
Like that was it. So it's like, oh, okay. So multiple months worth of stuff that we've been expecting to come in has not been coming in, and clearly it is not scheduled to come in. We need to do something about that. We have to figure that out.
And one of the reasons we had never opened a direct Scholastic account before was their $3,000 initial order.
Mm-hmm.
Their orders after that are fine, easy to hit, no
Yeah,
problem.
very
But
easy
you
to
have to have a $3,000 opening order.
Right.
And there's never a point where we just have an extra $3,000 laying around.
Yeah, or the ability to absorb and move through $3,000 worth of product. We have a pretty well-stocked younger readers room. $3,000 worth of product would basically be like, I don't know, 10 more copies each of these books. And it's like, where am I going to put
where's it
10
gonna
more
go?
copies?
Yeah.
I'm not starting from scratch here. We've been ordering Scholastic books since they've been doing them, since they started doing the bone color editions. Like, we get everything. We keep it in stock as long as it's in print. I don't need that much more.
Well, that's going to have to change.
It is. Got to get those new books.
Yeah, I mean, there's still for second stuff we haven't ever gotten, like that investigators book.
Well, that I haven't looked into.
I mean, it was due out January sometime.
Great.
Yeah. But I feel like we've gotten other first second books. I don't know for a fact. Also, digging into any of this takes time. It takes time away from running the store.
Yeah. And to be honest, like, the biggest problem is just that there's no communication from Diamond about this. Like, if Diamond had been like, look, these books are getting delayed indefinitely, we could then do something about it. Instead, it's up to us to realize, wait, there's like 3 months worth of Scholastic books that we haven't gotten.
Yeah.
And then we have to figure it out. Like, that sucks, because I wish we had known this 3 months ago. I wish we'd known it 2 months ago. I wish we'd known it a month ago. It could have saved us a lot of time and money and effort. Yeah, and the shittiest thing about this is usually what alerts us to the fact that we haven't gotten these things in from Abrams, from Young Press, from Scholastic, is when a customer notifies us. Hey, I ordered this and it didn't come in. What's going on? And then we research.
But I've seen it in other stores or what have you.
Or just period. Like, I ordered this. It didn't come in. What's going on? And we look and we're like, well, it's weird. It was supposed to come out back here. It hasn't. And then we look other places and go, oh, no, it's definitely been released. We just didn't get it because we ordered it from Diamond. And now we have to scramble to make things right with our customer. And we're giving them all the information. We're saying, here's exactly what's going on. We are walking you through what's happened, how we're going to fix it, and how we're going to make things right. And it's like, Diamond didn't do any of that.
No, and that goes back to a point I had made months ago about keeping our clientele base informed.
Sure.
When we don't have things on time, making sure that they know, we want to be as transparent as possible so we're not adversely affecting their weekly schedules.
Right.
Or so they don't have to show up and be like, we didn't know.
Sure.
That is keeping information away from customers to hope they still come in and buy things is akin to saying, I don't want free bags from a convention. Or remember Free Comic Day, like 2 years ago, we got all those paper bags?
Yeah.
Which we still have a few left of.
Sure.
There's no more. Everything we have is under the counter.
Okay.
But that had all these different advertisements for like CGC or for whatever else. And
Right.
stores are like, I don't want to advertise those other places. I don't want people like spending money at CGC because they could be spending that money in my store.
Okay.
And you also never know when it's an extra $600 and you expect it to be for CGC.
It's true.
Just saying randomly. Just pick a number out of thin air.
Yeah, just for conversation.
Nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah, the idea of not giving away like bags for a convention or something is ridiculous to me because they're not competition for you. Like, yes, they're competition in the sense of like your customers have a finite amount of money, but it's absurd to think of the world that way.
It's like if a movie promo company offers us promo posters for the digital release of the Loki TV series, or currently Novocaine.
Mm-hmm.
Like help us promote Novocaine. Novocaine will give you download codes or whatever. And for us to say, no, if people buy Novocaine, that's 5 comics they're not going to buy.
Right. That's a new graphic novel they're not going to read.
That's not the way the world works.
Yeah, people have different interests. They spend money on different things. You as a comic shop are not able, or how do I say this? You are not obligated to collect 100% of the money of your customers. That is not the goal, and that's not reasonable to expect any other business to support that concept.
I try to make sure that none of our customers ever hear the names of any grocery stores in the area.
Sure.
Because I don't want to remind them that, they need food when they should just spend that money on comics.
Yeah. Yeah, horrifying to hear about all of the wasteful spending of our customers on things like utility bills, mortgages, healthcare. All of that is stuff they could be buying variant covers at Challengers.
Yeah, whenever somebody says, "Hey, have you watched Daredevil?" all I hear is, "Oh, you're spending money on Disney Plus,
Disney stealing money right out
and
of the small
not
business
on
pocket.
comics. How dare you?"
Ridiculous.
You're huge. You're guilty of this. Every week you talk to people about movies that they pay money to see in cinemas.
Yeah.
You're encouraging that behavior from our customer
That
base.
deviant behavior.
How dare you? Do you not want food on your table? Do you want to take money out of Dax's daughter's mouth?
I think this podcast alone established that I do like eating dinner. So, yes, I do like food.
Yeah, and you buy food with money you've earned from the books that people buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they now go buy dinner for themselves,
Selfish.
you're not going to get money for your dinner.
Unbelievable.
So you fucked it. You
Unbelievable.
fucked it right then and there.
I did.
Man,
Shouldn't have fucked it.
anytime people come in with a branded t-shirt, like, nope, that's comic book money you just wasted.
Or any clothes that I know they didn't buy at Challengers. It's like, wow, all right, rude.
I mean, I do appreciate they wear clothes when they come to the store.
We sell T-shirts.
Yeah, but we don't sell pants.
You could
And
make them out of T-shirts.
I very much like them to wear pants. Very much like you to wear pants. Especially when we're recording this podcast. So can you keep that in mind for next time?
No promises.
So glad there's this partition between us that only goes chest high.
The conversational.
That's right. Thanks to Alex Chung for writing in about their experience with a convention many years ago that had a similar type of conversational booth theme.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, so James Syme from Isotope out in the Bay Area, I think the Bay Area, I had done a thing at a convention in 2008 that Alex had attended.
That you bought with non-comic money. I'm going to eat this money.
Where basically...
was this here for me or was it just
for you?
Oh, thanks.
Now you're welcome.
I'm taking it away from you.
Jesus.
That's why I said I'm going to eat this, not may I eat this.
But anyway, so the picture that Alex sent is kind of not what we were thinking, what I was thinking about doing. I think it's a picture of exactly what Patrick was afraid of. That would then be a huge problem, which is basically it is not going to, I keep saying going to, I don't know if this is even happening. I have no idea. The vision of it is not to be like a little lounge area, because I can tell you right now that would be a nightmare at C2E2. All you would have would just be people would see a random chair and they would just sit down in it for as long as they'd want to, be on their phones, and they would just be taking up space in whatever space that we had available. It would not be what we are trying to do at all, and it would keep people who would want to participate in it from being able to do so.
Yeah, and what we're trying to do is have a chair for me to sit down in it so I can play on my phone.
Yes. What we would likely have would be either, again, in my mind, it's either like a confessional booth, which would be the Challengers Conversational. So you could be in there and talk to somebody, and that's sort of it. But it wouldn't just be like clearly, oh, this is just a chair. I'm going to sit down. I need to get off my feet. Let me check and see what's on my phone with the terrible cell reception I get inside the venue. Or it would be something like a little drive-through window where it would just be like you'd kind of stand beside it, we'd talk, and then you'd move on. So it would not incentivize people to just take up space.
Sure.
I was talking to Patrick about this before when we were both talking about the email Alex had sent. And that concept of like a little lounge area was something I had thought about for one of our early days when we were doing at C2E2 booths.
But did we, in fact, year one, bring one or two red chairs? I think we did.
So I'm going to say I don't know because I didn't work the show until like year 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know what did or did not get brought. But the idea was
pretty sure we did.
Quickly discarded for every reason I just said, which is that while we were trying to bring the idea of what it's like at the store, which at the time had chairs and you could kind of sit down and you know, just a more casual experience, that's not conducive to what a show offers. That was also something where when we were doing the booth for the French Comics Association, they had wanted like, oh, we'll have a little table back here for meetings and stuff. And it's like, you don't realize how little space you actually have when you have a booth at a show.
And how loud it is to have a meeting on the sales floor.
Right. So like anything we would have for an upcoming idea where it would be more conversational or more discussion oriented would be something where it's like you are right next to the person you're talking to. It's not going to be like two people sitting in chairs like across from each other. Like, no, you'd be shouting at each other. You wouldn't hear anything. if you've ever talked to anybody in Artist Alley, you know how close you have to get to the artist for them to hear you and for you to hear them, because everyone's shouting over each other for 3 days in McCormick Place.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I'm not close enough to you.
That's okay. I wasn't saying anything of note.
Oh. Can you, first of all, I don't remember how long ago that ALA was. Was it like 2015, 2017, 2018?
Like that.
Can you tell me 2 physical objects we still have that we got from the French Comic Association, and then what other item that is now part of our daily routine that we got from them, but we've had to replace numerous times since then?
I have no idea to either one of them.
Oh. The second question answer is the plastic green knives, the retractable knives.
They were the first ones that had this?
Yeah, they had them there.
And you were like, we got to get these.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the past, we'd always use these big, like, metal box cutters and stuff.
Well,
or like the
utility
little
knives.
Or the little razor blade ones.
Yeah, which we still have a stack of those thanks to Eric Kersimer taking a giant box of them from Valiant at the Memphis Comics Front meeting and being like, hey, take this home with you guys.
Okay.
I'm not surprised you don't remember the first 2 things. One is a red metal locker, 2-drawer locker system.
Oh, okay.
That still to this day lives in and gets use in one of the rooms in the back hallway.
Okay. I didn't realize that came from there.
Yep. And the other was a Keurig.
I thought you were gonna say coffee maker.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they definitely had a coffee maker, and I guess they probably let us have it afterwards because they're like, it's not worth trying to ship this back with us.
Here's a funny story about that Keurig.
Uh-huh.
My sister-in-law Cheryl broke her Keurig and was going to get a new one, and I said, "Oh, I have one you can have.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring it over next time I come over."
Sure.
And then my brother privately said, "Don't do that. I'm getting her a new one for Christmas."
Ah.
But this was a few months before Christmas.
Right. So you had to keep forgetting to bring it?
Yeah.
What a bad brother you are.
And then
what an asshole.
Cheryl got tired of waiting and bought her own. So I'm sure, and I've never been able to tell her, and she doesn't listen to this podcast, it's fine, but I've never been able to say, hey, I didn't forget. I was told not to.
Yes. I did. I was being a good sibling multiple ways.
Yeah.
In multiple directions.
Yeah. Yep. So we still have that Keurig, which we've used for hot chocolate events.
I know.
Yeah. Also, when cleaning things out of the back room to make room for some stuff for Free Comic Book Day, I came across a significant bag of hot chocolate gear from a Christmas event we did for Christmas in 2023.
Oof.
So it was a whole jar of a hot chocolate mix and then boxes of the little bags.
Okay. Garbage.
I think the pouches haven't expired yet.
Wow.
But the giant tub had.
Yeah.
And that was another example of me totally overbuying.
Sure.
And those weren't we didn't do the Keurigs that time because the Keurig cups are way more expensive than just doing a little pouch with hot water.
Yep.
So we just do boiling water on the other coffee maker we have.
Yep.
So many coffee makers in the back of Challengers. It happens.
It does.
In typical Contest of Challenger fashion, Dal, I read a bunch of PDFs this week and forgot all of them.
Supergirl #1.
Did we talk about that already?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's great. I loved it. It's a lot of fun.
I really liked it. It's very weird.
Written and drawn by Sophie Campbell.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a good book.
It's a very strange
I did
book.
read that one.
It's so Silver Age in what it's doing, like thematically. It's sort of it's a fun exploration of those Silver Age tropes and the kind of Silver Age Supergirl stories. Oops. I just downloaded but didn't get a chance to read yet. Ghost Pepper by Ludo Lullaby, who was the artist on the most recent Battle Chasers restart, a continuation.
Yeah, funny story about that. I went to read that book 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And the link that they had sent had been taken down.
Okay.
But
this was just in today's.
Yeah, we got a new one today. I saw that. So I'm like, oh, I'll keep that.
Yeah, I downloaded that. Didn't get a chance to read it yet. I think there was stuff maybe in the DC email, but I don't remember what. And if it was even like new books or just like this.
It's Superman.
Oh yeah, Superman Unlimited #1.
I want to say Unlimited. I thought that's the name, but now I can't remember. But I feel like I went through and did a bunch of stuff.
And I read all the Free Comic Day comics that we're getting that I felt like I needed to read.
Sure.
I really liked most of them. I thought the DC one was pretty good, which is a Superman / all-in, not all-in, absolute flip book. Definitely something you're going to want to check out if you are either into the Superman books or excited about potential absolute crossover stuff. The Fantastic Four, was it X-Men?
Yeah, because it's Spider-Man Ultimates.
Yes, okay.
And then Fantastic Four giant-size X-Men.
Fantastic Four X-Men was good. The Fantastic Four stories are very, very cute. Ryan North, Humberto Ramos short story. It's everything I love about what Ryan North is doing on that book in like 8 pages. It's great. It's not trying to be like a huge prelude to some other story or whatever. It's just a super solid Fantastic Four science adventure.
That's what you're going to get from those creators.
Yeah, very, very cute, real fun read. The X-Men thing, it's fine. I'm not excited about the giant size event crossover thing. The idea of Kamala Khan going back in time and experiencing like huge moments in X-Men history. Maybe it'll make more sense when I read the whole book, but what they gave me was just like, it's fine. It's very nostalgia driven. I don't care a lot. And then I think, does that one have the Zdarsky short story in it? The 4-pager or whatever?
Yeah. That
was great and very funny and incredibly clever about its use of the Free Comic Book Day format. The other one, I'm trying to even remember what happened to the ASM short story. I don't even remember who did it. Was it Joe? I mean, it must have been Joe Kelly, but I don't remember who the artist was. I'm sure it was fine. I'm sure it's fine. The Ultimate thing is good, but it really is like, here's a premise for what we're doing.
Marvel gave us a preview, a PDF of Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion.
Mm-hmm.
The whole book, I was worried that it was just like going to be like 5 pages. It's every page of story from the book.
Uh-huh.
All the art.
Uh-huh. No letters?
No letters. No text, no dialogue.
Who needs that?
It significantly involves, for more than half of the story, Peter and Richard.
Ben?
Is it Ben?
Maybe it's Richard.
Richard? Whatever.
I think it's
the 2 Spider-Mans.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Son.
Yeah. And Miles. And then, of course, it switches over to, very briefly toward the end, the Ultimates.
Okay.
So even though we specifically made a point of not giving it to people who got Ultimate Spider-Man,
mm-hmm.
It's very much an Ultimate Spider-Man book.
I ordered a lot of copies.
Which, I mean, as far as it might not be, we carried dialogue. Who knows? Never give us a preview with no dialogue.
Yeah, don't bother.
No, don't do that.
I don't need to see, artwork with no story.
It's the same artist that did the Nick Fury Ultimate Special.
Okay.
You remember that one?
Vaguely. I didn't really read it that closely.
Okay.
I don't read Ultimates.
Yeah, so if you like that art,
yeah,
that was one of the ones I do remember trying to read. Also, it ends on a cliffhanger, but I thought it was a one-shot.
Incursion?
Yeah.
It is a miniseries.
Okay. That explains the ending. Huh. Yeah, right. Also, nowhere in the solicitation could I see that it said one of whatever or miniseries.
It's definitely a miniseries. I don't remember how many issues, somewhere between 4 and 12.
All right. Well, the next couple of weeks here at Contest of Challengers Central, specifically the Podcastatorium, are going to be in flux because we have so many things going on, out-of-town guests, obligations inside and outside of the Podcastatorium. So, as far as we know, we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. And help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.